You don't become a champion by winning a morning workout. The only true way is to marshal the ferocity of your ambition over the course of many days, weeks, months, and if you finally come to accept it, years. The trial of miles, miles of trials. This quote's from one of my favorite books called Once a Runner that touches on this quest for excellence that all runners find themselves on at one point or another. Whether you're a hobby jogger or high-level runner, we all embark on this journey to some extent. For some, that's for a couple of weeks, and for others, that's their entire life. But regardless which end of the spectrum you fall on, here are 8 running lessons that have changed my life and helped me be prepared for the trial of miles. People conceptualize conditioning in different ways. Some think it's a ladder straight up, others see plateaus, blockages, ceilings. I see it as a geometric spiraling upwards, with each spin of the circle taking you a different distance upward. Some spins may even take you downward, just gathering momentum for the next upswing. Sometimes you will work your fanny off and see very little gain, and other times you will maze yourself and not really know why. A false belief that effort and success are directly linked lead to most people giving up before they reach their goal. Success, however, is not linear. It's got ups and downs, periods of plateaus, and no progress. We all want the 6-step, 90-day solution to achieve success, and that's just not always how it works. Going through periods of no progress are necessary for success. It builds a resilience and grit that will sustain you through the highs and lows that running is bound to bring. That could be an injury, a bad race, a coaching change, a bad season. But don't panic, trust your training, and continue to show up. Cassidy very early on understood that a true runner ran even when he didn't feel like it, and raced when he was supposed to, without excuses and with nothing held back. I hear time and time again people saying that they can't or won't do something because they don't have the motivation to do so or they don't feel inspired. Both motivation and inspiration are fleeting, so relying solely on these feelings to propel you towards your goals is vain. And this is one of the main reasons most people never stick to their New Year's resolutions, because after a week or two, that fresh motivation just runs out. Consistency comes from discipline, and discipline comes from having an unwavering faith and belief in your purpose and your why. Fall in love with the process and have the discipline to continue on the path even on the days you don't feel like it or the motivation isn't there. The man that loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. Sometimes it's possible, despite your best efforts and 100 miles a week, not to even exist. That, my dear, breaks my heart. I've spent 7 years of my life working hard at this thing, and so far I'm average. It happens to others, concert pianists maybe, actors, and the like. But they aren't subject to the cold, cruel numbers like we are. This social media age keeps us in constant comparison. All we're seeing is everyone else's highlights. We only see how fast, how fit, how in shape everyone else is. And because that's our measure of success, we never have gratitude or appreciation for our own journey, path, and results. Especially with running, many of us are judged solely off that time that's right beside our name, so naturally we become comparative creatures. And this ultimately is what keeps a lot of people from taking that first step to start running, or from ever feeling confident enough to take a break from working on their craft. It's a fear of inadequacy, and not being able to stack up to everyone else, which leaves us in a cycle of frustration and disappointment, and it's evident by this quote. So how do we deal with this? First is take a step back. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Be okay and comfortable with where you're currently at. Focus your energy on running your race and no one else's, and the results will take care of themselves. Being grateful for the timing and pace of your journey, and enjoying the little moments that are along the way that will help redefine what success is for you and make running much more enjoyable. It's progress over perfection. You've been in that momentum gathering phase is what I'm telling you. You've been in it for quite a while now, and I think that physically, again, you're due. But your sights have been set too low. There's this belief that the big life goals we have take a long time to achieve, that we're so far away from reaching these, and we sell ourselves short. And maybe in some cases we are far away from them, and in no way should we force them to happen, but by mentally separating ourselves from these goals, we pace ourselves in a similar fashion, and as a result, never get close to some of our biggest goals. This could be things like completing a marathon, running a PR, or even getting out and exercising consistently, where we think that these milestones are unattainable, and as a result, never put in the work to truly go after them. Abandoning this mindset and changing your perception to understand how close you actually are to your goals will allow you to go out and achieve them. And before you know it, you'll be checking off goal after goal and setting yourself on this journey towards achieving some of your greatest dreams. Your best races are the ones where you just relax and let it flow. Whether it's a big race, a hard workout, an intense lift session, or the first time running a certain distance, nerves and pressure are common feelings associated with these events that many runners label high stakes. While pressure is privilege and nerves can be harnessed for good, many people psych themselves out from these feelings by focusing on the outcomes, by having a fear of failure, or worrying about what others might think. This ability to relax and let it flow will take this pressure off your shoulders, make the experience far more enjoyable, and put you closer to the result you want. It's controlling the controllables and letting the time, the place, the PR be the byproduct. Some ways I practically lived this out before big races or workouts was with positive self-talk mantras and trusting my training. One of my favorite mantras was saying, I'm fit, I'm fast, I'm tough, I'm strong, I've never been more prepared. These 5 statements that are from a book called Running with the Buffaloes was something that I repeated on the line before a hard workout or race to lock in, to truly just relax and let it flow and reinforce that confidence in not only myself, but my training. Truly being able to relax through faith and gratitude and letting the race come to me took care of the results and led to some of my best workouts, runs, and races. Cassidy did not allow himself to think of racing pace. For these 63-second quarter miles required so much effort, it would have been heartbreaking to think how much faster he needed to run in an actual race. There were too many other factors: rest, a faster surface, and more important, the incredible psyche he would build up prior to the race. Such comparisons were not helpful and were dismissed quickly. In training, it was best to think about training. Part of achieving this relaxed flow state is not letting the things you can't control get to your head. The competition, the way the race plays out, the weather, how your coach or teammates perceive you, or even how you feel on runs. But what you can control is your attitude, your effort, and showing up consistently every day, even on the days that you don't want to. All you can do is be present mentally, physically, and emotionally in the here and now, which will allow you to control what you can control. Running to him was real. The way he did it, the realest thing he knew. It was all joy and woe, hard as diamond. It made him weary beyond comprehension, but it also made him free. Running and accepting the joy and woe that accompanies it will allow you to thrive rather than just survive. One of my high school coaches told me this quote my junior year, and it's stuck with me ever since. We all wait all day for 5 p.m., all week for Friday, all summer for winter, all winter for summer. We simply survive, always looking to the next job, the next project, the next race, oftentimes ignoring the task at hand and missing the joy in the present. With running for many years, I dreaded racing. I hated the nerves, the pain, and just wanted the races to be over. I wanted the gun to sound, to survive the race, say I completed it, and be on to the next challenge. But in the process, I missed the highs that running does bring. Approach your daily runs, lifts, races, and just life in general with a thrive mentality rather than just trying to survive that will not only allow you to handle the trial of miles, but find a love, joy, and freedom in the sport while viewing it as a gift as much as a challenge. Go for it, Quentin, is what I'm telling you. Go for the big time right now, at this precise point of your life. Make up your mind to do it and do it. Take your shot. Many times we set goals or have dreams of starting or working towards something that we don't begin until something external happens. Once the new year comes, when it gets warm again, when life's not busy, we wait for this perfect time, the perfect race, the perfect training plan. The perfect time is now. Take action, put the steps in place to go after your goal, whether that's to complete a marathon or run for the first time ever. You'll look back and be thankful you took the leap of faith even when everything wasn't perfectly lined up. If we keep waiting for the perfect time, we'll be waiting forever. What was the secret they wanted to know? In 1,000 different ways they wanted to know the secret. And not one of them was prepared, truly prepared, to believe that it had not so much to do with chemicals and zippy mental tricks as with that most unprofound and sometimes heart-rending process of removing molecule by molecule the very tough rubber that comprised the bottoms of his training shoes. The trial of miles, miles of trials. How could they be expected to understand that?